Hey everybody, my name is Darren Jenkins, and I am the Angry Adjunct, destined to fail. It is currently, right now, the 18th of January of 2022, and a year ago today, I had a surgery cut through my head because I had a brain aneurysm, which happened back on January 3rd. And you can take a look here of my scar, which is why I wear the hats now. So what I have now is what is called aphasia. And this is where it's difficult for me to read aloud, to talk, and to write. Are different aspects that are skewed in different ways. Over the last year, I've been seeing a speech therapist, different ones, ballpark for the year, 2 times a week. And it's been really good for me, by the way. Different aspects of my brains are growing, etc. So, trust me, I'm going to be using my characters that I've created in episodes 1 through 5, which were, I started as trailers. And a couple of my friends had said, hey, what are you doing by episodes 4 and 5, well, trailers 4 and 5? And I was like, yeah, okay. I was a little wrong in creating trailers to start this. So it's my work. So this is why this is episode 6, because it took me a long time to continue how to move on and try not to bore people at the same time. So yeah, I'm not kidding. When my aphasia comes in, I'm going to have my characters popping in to have a laugh, because for me, I try to laugh as much as I can when I screw up my words, because I have no choice, etc. So, you know, it's okay to laugh whenever we can, people. We've only got one life on this planet, and I'm damn sure going to have a freaking good time. And I hope you all do too. So let's start with a list of pictures I had created about my history, who I am. Okay, and I'll try to do this very quickly. Okay, everybody. So basically, this is my pop when he was about 13 years old, sitting there with his first, and pretty much, I think, only gun he's ever had. He's never been into those aspects before. Now, ballpark at that point in time, my dad was throughout time dealing with the language here is going to be difficult for me. We usually used to talk about it being a light case of polio. And what had happened was the left side of my dad's leg is basically muscular size, is about half the size of his right. And so since this speech therapist that I've been taking, my therapist told me that what really might have happened, and I'm going to screw this up, I didn't even look it up right now, but it's a French word, Guillain-Barré, or something like that, and it's a different aspect, not polio, but something else. So there's a good chance that that's what it was. But regardless, that's a very true situation for my dad. And at one point in time, he had watched his older brother drown and die. And my dad couldn't save him because he didn't know how to swim. So just imagine right there the aspects of what happened to us in our young lives and how those become a huge part of us later on through our own life. Okay? Okay, So this picture is my mom, and this is ballpark when she's 15 to 16 years old here. And my first reaction to this photograph here is that it was an artistic film. And my mom had said that it was just a double exposure kind of situation with this one. So for me, as a creative type of person, that's why I look at this. I'll say, nah, this is art. Somebody created this concept of art. I'm taking the truth and I'm bending it to make it think about something that I find something that's more interesting. It's not that it's bad or horrible or anything like that. It's just another avenue. My mom and dad had got together. They were from Pocatello, Idaho. Well, I never. And they ended up, didn't know each other growing up. They met each other down in San Diego, I think, when my dad went in as Navy. That was ballpark between 1962 to 66. Okay, everybody, this is the second part of this video. I'm going to try to go quicker, if I can. Okay. So what we got here with this first picture of my sister and brother, this was ballpark done in 1972. That's my grandpa Sid and my grandma Jane, and that's my sister Tracy on the left, and there's my brother. And they're out of Mount Rushmore, and I got to go see that with my grandpa a few years later, which was really cool. And so in this picture, if you take a look, it's a picture with my brother at that age and dealing with his grandma, so it's just like, wah, wah, that kind of stuff. I have another picture that I can't get on here for some weird reason. But it was me when I was 1 year old, and my sister Tracy is holding on to me and smiling while we get a picture taken. And it was just really wonderful because my brother, who, think about this aspect, the young child is now the middle child. So I'm sure many of you out there have had those experiences as well. And I did. And my brother was looking on in that picture at me crying. And it's just like, huh? So yeah, I found out later on in life that I ended up as a child having impacted bowel syndrome. And basically mom had to insert a finger into my anus to pull that out. So
no thank you.
When I'm sitting there crying in pictures, I think there's a connection there to something like that. By the time when I was 5 years old and I was in kindergarten, if you take a look at that picture there at my left eye, I had to share a bed with my brother at this point in time because my cousin Brian had come live with us. That's fine. But it's still, I'm sure all of you have had these situations with your siblings as well. It turned into fights. So that was me in 5 years old. My brother would smash my eye, my face, whatever. I'd wake up, there's blood on me. Once a week? Twice a week? I don't know. I never could get that answer. But you take a look at that eye there. Yeah, some stuff happened. So as we get along a little bit older, this is like a cotillion, I think, for my sister, or if it was, I think it was her graduation from her, maybe in the 8th grade on that one, actually. And was a wonderful picture with us. But unfortunately, by the time she was about 15 and a half years old, that's when she had swallowed an earring, and it had become caught into her esophagus. And so she was put into the hospital and went under surgery. And this is one of the final Christmas days she ever had. This is January 25th of 1980. And my parents have to pull a plug in the next month of January of 1981 because she fell into a coma, and there was no telling that she would be coming back at all, and if not, as a vegetable kind of thing. So things move on in their own ways, and this is my brother and my cousin, and I have their faces covered because I haven't asked them if it was okay to be showing this. But with this, I was a ring bearer, and this was up in Pebble Beach, and it was an absolutely beautiful area. And so was my cousin getting married. So during 2 years later, it was 1983. People's lives always continue on. So when I get older, this is ballpark, I don't know, a couple years after that, 1985 or so. Everybody in a working/poor class area, like everybody else, people fight all the time with everybody, all around. It's life. I don't know about you rich peoples and shit like that, dude, but those are us. And so that was me learning how to be different than my dad, different than my brother, to be me. And that's why I went out wearing my underwears to go outside, because I'm going to be different to people by this time in my life. So a year or two even after that, these aspects happen. All right. This is my pop, drunk. Well, not with this picture, but you look at that wall back behind there in that picture where my mom's putting up Christmas gifts or something like that. My pop comes over, grabs me by my hair at this time, and he's holding me over by that wall, and he's tapping my head, just tapping it onto that wall. He says, "How you doing?" And many beers. And my mom was actually sitting where my dad took that picture at that point in time. And she looked over at him and she said, "Art, you're hurting him. Let him go." And he did. And I slid right by him, not even looking at him. And I went back over through there into the kitchen and just went out through the back and got away. So there's a very real aspect of a lot of different drinkers in this, especially in this time. So time moves on. This is me as a water boy in high school. I played football for my freshman year, and I went to go get an x-ray to come to find out that I was born with a 6th lumbar in my lowest back. Normally people have 5, I've got 6. So that's why when I stand up at 6'2", my torso is very tall, but my legs are rather short in its own ways. So I quit, and I stayed in to be a manager, a water boy. And that got me my varsity jacket, which pissed a lot of people off. The only thing I was trying to do was to be a part of a group of people, and still has its own downs and downs and downs in those situations too. So c'est la vie. As I move on to my senior year, this was the class with Lois Heileman, and this was an English AP class. And it was by far one of the best classes I've ever had. She was the most awesome teacher, and she is dressed up as Janis Joplin because she went to Woodstock, man, in 1969, bro. And she was the coolest of the coolest. So to you, Lois Heileman, wherever you are, thank you. After high school, I spent 2 years at Mount Sac Walnut, and it was a great experience for me there. I got an AA degree. I was working at that time from going from Subway over to working at Montgomery Wards. All right. And did my thing. I got another job up in Pasadena the summer of 1994 at a coffee shop. I had a good time there as well.
Heilige Scheiße. I cannot believe you talk about these things in public.
I was up at Santa Cruz for 2.5 years, and I received my bachelor's degree. And during that time, I worked my way up to that job. And that was the cream of the cream right there for us working class, because with this one, I was working Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 hours a pop. There's 24 hours a week going to work. And Tuesday, Thursday was when I'd take my classes. I had some night classes there occasionally as well. So that was, once again, that was the best experience. But you got to realize too that I can go back to my paperwork and I'm ballpark making $5,400 for a year. That kind of stuff goes on for working class people. It's kind of hard to spend time doing homework when doing stuff like that. So as it moves on, when I came back the first year from Santa Cruz, those aspects of me dealing with Republicans and a bunch of BS I was hearing at that time, and I'm not kidding, dude. I'm sitting there going, because if you look at my pictures and stuff like that, each and every one of us throughout the world goes through numerous aspects. Okay? That's my pop, dude. The pop who was holding my hand up against the wall. He's one of the coolest of the coolest. I was lucky to have my father, because he learned how to deal with his own aspects, just like I do, hopefully just like all of you do. And my pop would come over to cool me off and calm me down, and I still remember him forever. This was where I graduated from UC Santa Cruz. I was there, homies, and I was naked underneath that. I hope everyone else would try to be a different person in some way of your life and not just be the same person over and over again. It's one of the aspects I try to do in my life. I still do. So from this picture here, I'm jumping over the 20s that I had for no reason at all. But moving up to Carson City, Nevada in 2005 is when my parents retired. And that is the first day we pulled in. And that's my girl in the back of the car, Drusilla. She's my kid. And I've had her. So the following winter, there's my pop and my mom, and they're shoveling through with a heavy amount of snow right there. That was also when my pop started with gastroparesis. Right there. It was a couple years later when he became diagnosed with cancer. So that is the end of that picture right there, to show the beautiful aspects and real aspects of anyone's life. I'm sure it happened to a lot of other you as well. So thank you very much for listening. Have a good day, everybody.